Remember, folks, it's just my opinion. Okay, everybody, I thought we'd do something different today and take a look at what I think are the 15 best, greatest, my favorite film scores in music history. And let me just say again, these are my opinions based on the fact that these are scores I like to listen to, which a lot of them came from movies that I like to watch. So take that into account. Also, obviously, looking at this through my own eyes, I would even say maybe there's something I like to listen to more than something I might have on the list. But, if I think the soundtrack to Attack the Killer Tomatoes is amazing, I'm not going to have it ahead of The Godfather. You know what I'm saying? It's a mix, an homage of my personal favorites and what I think really is warranted to be there. So, without any ado, let's get rolling. Coming in at number 15. 1976's King Kong by John Barry. This soundtrack is awesome. It really is. It gives you the size, the power, and the strength of Kong himself. It gives you all these cool tribal rhythms mixed into it, and it really gives you this adventure theme underneath it with a bit of morose sadness because you know it's going to have a tragic end. The music to this motion picture is great. Went and seen it back in 1976 when I was a wee lad of 6 years old, and it's stuck with me ever since. That's all I can say. Coming in at 14, 1966's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly by Ennio Morricone. Come on! This thing changed the way the Western music was presented. You remember before that, it was always like, John Wayne, John Ford type Westerns, and it was dun, 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 dun. It was a little bit more heroic, a little bit more whatever. But the music to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was fairly dark, kind of twisted, a little bit off-setting. Yes, it had some country themes in it, but if you take it for what it is, it's very dark. It's very ominous, and it has a whole feel amongst itself. So, without a doubt, has to be on the list just the way it goes. Coming in at 13, 1971's Dirty Harry by Lalo Schifrin. Come on! That thing was awesome. It gave you that whole kind of street vibe with that mixture of jazz and funk. This all fused together, laid out in this really cool 1970s tone with some of those old classic keyboards. The vibe to Dirty Harry, as much as it is Clint Eastwood and all the amazing stuff you're seeing, is that incredible score that underlies it. You just can't deny it. It's part of the fabric of that motion picture. Beautiful music, great score. Schifrin knocked it out the park. Coming in at number 12, 1979's The Black Hole by John Barry. I can put this on any day of the week and listen to it as it plays in the background while I'm doing something around the house. It's really kind of larger than life and whirling and swirling, and it makes you feel like you've been part of this motion picture as you sat there watching. I'm not saying The Black Hole is the greatest motion picture ever made, but I'm telling you now that soundtrack is heads and shoulders above so many other things that you might listen to. John Barry, great work. Coming in at number 11, 1980's The Fog by John Carpenter. It's sparse, it's bleak, it's morose, and it fills you with just the right vibe for this motion picture. You can listen to The Fog front to back, top to bottom, anytime, and the movie will come back into your head, and the feeling of the movie will come back into your head. It's just incredible work, exceptionally done. Yes, you know how Carpenter works. It's nothing over the top grandiose, but it's effective, and that's all that counts. Okay, folks, we're going to the top 10. Here we go. 1977's Close Encounters of the Third Kind by the one and only John Williams. Beyond the whole fact that just dee-dee-dee-dee-dee is going to be in your head for the rest of your life, it's on doorbells, it's on fucking cell phones, it is what it is. This score, top to bottom, front to back, during the whole length of the motion picture, is as close to flawless you can get. It fills you with the sense of wonder and adventure and confusion and maybe dread at moments, that a motion picture like this presented to you and a soundtrack like this had to deliver to you. It's just top-notch stuff, folks. And you're going to see his name come up numerous times on this Williams I'm talking about. This is just top-notch work. Undeniable. Number 9, 1981's Escape from New York by John Carpenter with some help from Alan Howarth, but that's a whole different thing for a different conversation. Anyway, John bats it out the park on this. I will put this thing on so many times while I'm driving, often headed to work. I guess how I'd view it as a survival thing. I don't know. Anyway, this motion picture has that perfect techno keyboard loop-driven sound with obviously some normal contemporary playing over it. I cannot express to you how cool this soundtrack is. I think Alan Howarth actually did the 59th Street Bridge or whatever part of it. But whatever, it doesn't make a difference. This motion picture soundtrack is perfect for that motion picture. Futuristic enough to set with it, rooted enough from keyboards to make it contemporary, and it just gets the vibe. Snake Plissken and that theme are intertwined, period. And it's all in the power of that score. Number 8, 1978's Superman. Oh, come on. The movie that made you believe a man could fly, and the music made you believe it even more. This, I'm telling you, Williams is going to come up a lot. You know that. We all expect it. It is some of the most phenomenal shit I have ever heard in my life. It just encapsulates what Superman is. You cannot think of Superman in your head. I don't give a damn who they have playing him. It could be whoever. It doesn't make a difference. In the back of your mind, you hear the word Superman, and you just start going, da, 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 da. You know you do. And the whole score past that little theme is just incredible, front to back, top to bottom. Listen to the music as he's taking Lois on that flight off of her apartment building. Listen to it. It's magic. It's magic. You can't separate the motion picture from it, and you know it. Number 7, 1979's Star Trek the Motion Picture. Oh, yeah. Jerry Goldsmith nailed it. Come on. You cannot think of Star Trek the Motion Picture without thinking of that music and thinking of that scene when they're in that little travel pod going around the Enterprise, just doing the beauty shots that seem to go on forever, honestly. But that music takes you to a higher place. It truly, truly does. There was some other great music in some of the other Star Trek motion pictures. You know, it was in 2, it was amazing. But you got to give it to the first one out the park. And what they did here on the motion picture was just incredible. It gave you almost that futuristic nautical type vibe. With the you could feel the love coming out of Kirk when he's seeing his baby again, and they were showing it to him. Let's keep going. Number 6, 1982's Blade Runner by Vangelis. Whether it's the main theme or the infectious Blade Runner blues, which I think people have made like 2-hour loops of and shit on YouTube, you can just fall into a world, a universe, just listening to that music. It's as time setting, place setting, and mood setting as any kind of music could ever be. You know the kind of world that gave you a Blade Runner. You know what kind of a desperate, sad, dreary, and this music is perfect for it. I mean, it just is what it is. I know he scores films by literally putting the movie on behind and kind of just playing along with it. It's not like he's doing this thing way in advance. He's just beautiful work, beautiful music. What more can you say? Okay, we're in the top 5 now, and literally any one of these can all swap places around. I depending on what day of the week it is, but I'm trying to put this list together, and it was what it was. You have to give the acknowledgement that any of these on any day of the week will be my new favorite, so you have to take it for what it is. So let's go all the way back to 1978 and take a look at Halloween Oh yeah, Carpenter at work again. Who doesn't know that theme? Nobody. It's universal. It's all over the planet. And if you watch that motion picture and you take out that music, it's not going to land the same way. Fact, Carpenter will tell you that. Fact, anybody will tell you that. That music was so offsetting, so terrifying, so sparse and bleak, and it just filled you with dread, that if you watch that movie without the music, you're going to be like, this kind of lands a little bit flat. Just is what it is. But with that score, with that music, some of those simple piano notes, that movie was taken to a higher place. Just the way it is, you'll never be able to get that theme out of your head. That theme will be playing long after me, you, and everybody else that you know has kicked it. Simple fact. Number 4, 1976, Rocky by Bill Conti. I defy anybody to be working out, put that music on, and not start working out harder. That music is the underdog of America. That music is the struggle, the pain, the feeling of everybody inside needing to reach for more and wanting to reach for more. There is no music that I could ever think of more motivational, more spirit lifting, more inspiring than the music to that motion picture. When Rocky gets up off the floor, off that last time, and you could see, Adrian's eyes closed, and you hear that music come up, the music is lifting you and your spirit and your emotions with him. Take that shit out, it lands different. It's simple fact. That motion picture and that music was probably the greatest combination of film and soundtrack ever. Period. Bar none. Even stuff that's going to rank higher. Bar none. Number 3, 1975. John Williams again. Jaws. Simple fact. Everybody knows that theme. It was terrifying. It was simplistic. But at other parts of the motion picture, there was other kinds of music that he brought in and that he composed that just was uplifting or fun. Think about the scene where they're chasing the shark. He's got a couple barrels in him and they're in the boat. And you get that kind of whimsical, fun music. Like, oh my God, we're having a great weekend out. As they're all smiling, chasing this thing down with their boat. And they're going to win. And this is a little adventure. And it's almost like the Goonies at that point. The shift in music can go from one extreme in that motion picture to the other extreme in that motion picture. And it's so well crafted, so well done, that you don't even notice it. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. And as a side fact, my mother, when she was back in the 70s, was a record of the month person. And she said one month, you can pick out anything you want. You can pick out an 8-track and you will get that. Which one do you want? And I picked the soundtrack to Jaws. Yep. Before all the rock bands or anything else, that's what I wanted to listen to. Coming in at number 2, 1982. Conan the Barbarian by Basil Poledouris. Hear me out. I know it's a sword and sorcery fantasy flick. Some people might love it. I do. Some people might think whatever. Some are that way. But there is no denying the soundtrack to that motion picture is some of the most incredibly brilliant musical work that's ever been done in any century. I don't care. You can bring up Wagner. You can bring up Beethoven. I will throw down for Basil and say this shit is as good without a question. Listen to it. It's out there. All you gotta do is look it up. The music to that thing from the beginning to the end, especially in the beginning with some of those themes and oh my God, and even the temple music, whatever. This simply is some of the best musical work I've ever heard. I mean, ever heard. Ever heard. It's powerful. It's inspiring. It's just everything that it was meant to be. That soundtrack is gold. You can think what you want of the movie. I think it's a great flick. But you can think what you want of the movie. But whatever comes out of that, the soundtrack is prime perfection. By the way, before we go to number one, I'm going to throw in a couple of movies that almost made it. That I think their soundtracks are just incredible. But because the soundtracks might be a little bit sparse, or it's really just the main theme and one other tune just reused over and over again, I kind of said, they couldn't make it on the list, even if I listened to them more than some of the other things that I normally listen to. So, on that note, let's kick them out. We are talking 1976's Assault on Precinct 13 by John Carpenter. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's one of those motion pictures and one of those themes that is just great. And if you listen to just the opening theme and just this one segment called Julie's Dead, you are going to get some of the best shit ever. It's minimalistic, it's cool, it's 70s. Check it out. And another one is 1984's The Terminator by Brad Fiedel. Great stuff. Again, it's just like, you got a couple themes. You got the main theme and you got like a chase theme. Whatever. So it didn't quite make the top 15. But great shit to listen to. Guy did it in his garage, for Christ's sake. Just is what it is. Look it up, play it. Gonna enjoy it. Okay, everybody, the number one spot. It's not just a movie. It's a series of movies. 77, 80, 83, and you can throw in the stuff from the 90s and early 2000s, and there's only 6 of them, by the way. I don't care what's been made afterwards. There's only 6 of them. But we are talking about Star Wars by John Williams. And Empire, and Jedi, and we can go into Menace, and we can do friggin', the Revenge of the... everything. We can do all that. But as one body of work, the music to those 6 Star Wars films, to do it in that many movies, to do it over that long a period of time, I don't think there's anything that comes close. I don't. Plain and simple. That volume of work, I can still, in my head, when I hear that music, picture myself in a theater as that Star Destroyer comes out over my head, shooting at that little blockade runner. I can still hear it, feel it. And even like later, much later, the music to Duel of the Fates. Come. What? It would be on this list just for that. Period. So if you throw in those 6 soundtracks and call it like one thing, it is simply untouchable. Do I listen to some other stuff more than it? Yeah. But you got to give respect where respect is due. That motion picture series with John Williams behind it, I don't know if anything like that will ever be equaled again. I don't know if anything like that will ever be, my God, even approached again. The body of work is, simply put, what it is. All right, everybody, I hope you got a kick out of that. Please leave comments in the section below and discuss what you think, what you like. It's all about opinion, it's all about fun, and it's all about the music. Everybody loves music, even an old musician guy like me. We all love music. Anyway, it is what it is. Everybody, be good. Take care. Stay out of trouble. Be kind to a stranger. Be there for a friend. Never, and I mean never, take any bullshit from anybody. See y'all soon.